Hello, my name is Dr. Gleisner and this is Group 7. In the specification it says the elements in Group 7 are called the halogens and the compounds they make are called halides. Halogens are non-metals and they exist as twins, basically, twin atoms. So you've got fluorine as F2, chlorine is Cl2 and so forth. The reason why there's a asterisk with AS, astatine, is because there's not enough in the world to actually matter all that much. But if you do get asked what would it be, what would it exist as, it is likely that it would exist as AS2. And the same for tennessine, which is TS, which is just underneath that, which is even less relevant. Students should be able to describe the nature of the compounds formed when chlorine, bromine, and iodine react with metals and nonmetals. So what happens is that if you react these halogens with group 1 metals, you get a white powder out of it. And if you react it with a transition metal, you're likely to get a colored salt out of it. The further down the group you go, the higher the melting point. This is because of an effect which I've discussed, or forces which I've discussed previously, called the van der Waals forces or intermolecular forces, and which relies solely on the number of electrons. The number of electrons goes up as we go down. So do the interactions between the molecules. So two F2 molecules would be very fleetingly attracted, whereas two I2 molecules at room temperature and standard pressure in fact form a sort of solid, metallic-y looking solid. Bromine is the only other element which is sort of liquidy at room temperature, the other one of course being mercury. Chlorine is this pale green gas that you can see here, and fluorine is sort of well, there isn't a good picture of it, which is why it's there isn't one here, and it's more or less transparent. Okay. A more reactive halogen can basically displace a less reactive halogen. So reactivity down the group decreases. So fluorine is the baddest and the meanest, and it can take away all of the things that these other ones are bonded to. So let's say you've got sodium chloride, which is a salt with a group 1 metal made by chlorine. Then if you put fluorine in there, it will basically result on chlorine being result in chlorine being released and sodium fluoride being formed. If on the other hand you have got sodium bromide and you put iodine in there, nothing much will happen because bromine is the more reactive halogen. More on that later. In group 7, there are some trends that you need to know. One of them is that the color gets darker as you go down the group, and the state goes from gas to a liquid to a solid. And astatine, if it was around, would also be a solid. But the melting point and boiling point therefore increase. They all have one thing in common, however, because they are group 7, they all have 7 electrons in their outer shell. And that's pretty much it. So I'll see you in the next video. Please like and subscribe and let me know of any questions you'd like me to cover in the comments.